Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hold on. Rolly Romero. Hey, good things happening for that young man. Rolly Romero's come out and done a video talking about what happened between him and Tank Davis, and actually thanking Tank Davis for the opportunity for the fight, and going as far as saying that he really feels that the loss against Tank is a win for him. I'm referring to Rolly. And I'd have to be honest with you, Rolly's right. What he showed in that fight against Tank is that Rolly can hang with the best of them. There's not one person out there who is saying that they were not surprised by Rolly's performance. There's not one person, even the people who don't fancy Rolly Romero, have had nothing but good things to say. And of course, Rolly has nothing but good things to say about himself. On that fight, a lot of people had Rolly up 5-1, 4-2 before he got clipped by Tank Davis. And the thing is, right, it happened. He got knocked out. It is what it is. But if Rolly didn't get greedy in that fight, a lot of people are saying they have a feeling that things would have gotten very interesting down the stretch of the fight. Now, it's hard not to think that at some point Tank Davis wouldn't have caught up with him, because Tank was showing when he did let his hands go, he was able to touch Rolly. But Rolly was able to touch Tank, and he made Tank respect his power. That's why Tank chose not to fight in an aggressive manner. But Tank has a sound amateur background. Bivol has a sound amateur background. You know, Bertabiev has a sound amateur background. So when you get these guys with those sound amateur backgrounds and they get in the ring with these opponents who don't, hold on a second. And when they get in the ring with these opponents who don't have that background, at some point, their inexperience shows up in the fight. And that's what happened with like Bertabiev and Joe Smith, Tank and Rolly Romero. The inexperience showed up. Now, it doesn't mean they don't have a sound skill set. It doesn't mean they're not great fighters. It's just there's something you can't teach a lot of fighters is patience. The ability to have patience and know at some point that front runner is going to slow down a bit. He's going to get anxious because it's a waiting game sometimes. And he's going to get anxious. He's going to jump. He's going to jump in. He's going to make a mistake, and you have to be ready to capitalize. And that's what Tank did. But that being said, with Rolly Romero, why is he considering his loss a win? Because the man's a pay-per-view attraction. His next fight, I'm not sure, but reportedly, Rolly's next fight is supposed to be on pay-per-view. Rolly's next fight is supposed to be against another big name. Rolly's next fight, he's supposed to be getting, at minimum, $1 million. Rolly Romero has thrown himself out into the limelight now. He is a household name. People like him. He's bilingual. He has a nice personality. He's funny. He just has everything you want to create an attraction. Pay-per-view star, depends on if he keeps knocking people out. But right now, he has all the ingredients you need to make a pay-per-view star. And his personality is really helping him sell the fight. Also, the crossover appeal. There's a lot of people. Let me tell you something, right? In boxing, you have fanatics. And those fanatics like to see guys fight and brawl. So those of you guys who may be looking at this video saying, well, winning is important. Yeah, well, tell Derek Chisora that. Okay? They have fanatics. Derek Chisora has a fan base. They don't care if he wins or loses. He comes to fight. Look at a guy like Gabriel Rosado. People support him because win, lose, or draw, he's coming to fight. People love to see a fight, love to see a brawl, love to see guys get in there and mix it up. And that's what you get with Rolly Romero. He's not afraid to fight. He can box, but he has that power. But he's on that front foot. He's coming to get you. And I think Rolly Romero, he has several years of good, high-profile boxing matches ahead of him and some really handsome paydays. This young man has changed his life with that fight against Tank. The knockout did not hurt him. It's being in that ring and showing that he can make the fight competitive. There are a lot of people who felt he would get blown out. That is not what happened. He was doing some really clever things, setting traps, setting Tank up, ready to fire. And Tank, and this is the thing, Tank came out and said, Rolly's not a bum-ass fighter. He said he was doing some really clever things, some really crafty things. He has to give him credit. He underestimated him is what he said. I didn't think he can do those things. And he made it hard for Tank. But we know what the end result was. But for Tank to come out and say that is big of him because he didn't have to do that. So Rolly Romero's on his way, man. But just to hear this young man, he is about to start getting $1 million paydays. That's huge. Not sure who his next fight is going to be against yet. But the Pitbull Crew's name is being thrown out there, but I don't think Pitbull wants that fight. To be honest with you, I don't think Rolly needs to be in any of those big fights right now. Let him go out there. You know, they need to do Rolly like they're doing Tank. Put him in fights with guys with names, but not the elite necessarily. Let him stack up his money. Start making $1, $2, $3, $4 million a fight. Stack up his money, then go ahead and put him in those fights that put him at risk. That's what they did with Gervonta. They put him in fights with guys with names, but they made sure that the playing field wasn't really level. They made sure Tank had the advantage, but he had a name. They were able to sell the fights. And Tank was able to build up his resume, but more importantly, stack up his bank account. Now, what I do hope to see is that Tank starts to get endorsement deals. I hope there are things outside of boxing that Tank can get, and then Rolly can get. You know, I like to see these guys start to get those things. We know Floyd Mayweather, he did things his way, and it worked out. But for these younger fighters, well, let's take your way, and then the ways of others who have found themselves in relationship with sponsorship deals, and let's see if we can bridge the gap and bring it together so that these younger guys not only benefit from the way you did things, but benefit from the way other boxers did things to get that outside revenue generated. And I don't see why that can't happen. But I'll go ahead and leave it as that. When it comes to Rolly Romero, he says, hey, he really feels he beat Tank. He really feels he was up 6-0. I don't think so. I think it was 4-2. 4-2, and some of those rounds were close, but I would say 4-2. That's how I had it. But Rolly really feels that, you know, he was winning every round. And he feels that loss was a win, which I think a lot of people, we've been saying that for the longest. But that being said, we'll leave it as that. Looking forward to see who he's fighting next. But Rolly Romero is on his way to becoming a multi-millionaire now. He just has to keep doing what he does, which is being himself, and he'll be all right. That being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Shout out to the veterans. Y'all keep safe, and I'm in the breeze.